And so Sparcer goes to join the war efforts anyway because, well, what else is he going to do? Even though that the general has some fiendish plans, but, well, I don't think he overheard them despite being pinned down by that robot face nearby. So we have another side-scrolling stage, and war is broken out as we can see here. We see the pigs who are shooting from cover, while the wolves just sort of, I don't know, are they throwing stuff at them? Whatever, it's the same kind of looping animations anyway, even though the wolves don't seem like they're, even though nothing seems to be really going on. Oh yes, and those walls there you can drill through with the drill attack. So it's this level that kind of teaches you that, hey, you can use the drill attack to have a more powerful attack and be able to go through certain things, because there are certain walls and things that you can use the drill attack to go through. Once again, I'm at a loss of words of what to say, because I guess one of the downsides to this game is it's pretty samey throughout, because there actually is a pattern to this game, because each world essentially has 4 stages. You have 2 side-scrolling stages like this, a flying stage, and a boss stage. And there are 4 worlds, so there are about 16 stages if you include the final bosses. So this is a pretty short game, and it is around 15 bucks, but it was worth it to me as a Rocket Knight fan anyway. Though your mileage may vary, and I'm trying to figure out how to get up there, but turns out you need to do this. There we go. That's how we get some red gems and another extra life. So as I was saying, but still, this is a downloadable game for like around 15 bucks. So, and we have these things. These rolling cages can take quite a few hits. The drill attacks can help, but if you get them down to low health, you can take it out pretty easily. And with enemies that take more than 1 hit, they do have a health bar of sorts. When they start to turn red, that's when their health is starting to get low after the subsequent hits. And there's nothing really down here, I don't know why I'm doing that. Here it finally tells you how to do the drill attack, but if you just press B repeatedly while you're rocking around, you'll probably figure that out on your own anyway, so... But at least it's there now to tell you that, hey, you need to use the drill attack in order to proceed. So we can go through some weak structures like the floorboards and things like that. And I'm just going to go over here quickly first, though, to get some stuff. And there I go again with not boosting correctly in the right direction. The analog stick controls do work okay. I can adjust them fine. But if you're more used to a D-pad control setup with games like this, you may have a little bit of problems with the Xbox Live Arcade version, especially since the 360 controller D-pad is not that good. But like I said, flying around in those stages, in the flying stages, the analog stick actually works well in that, because you can move in all directions in that one. Okay, what am I doing here? I'm trying to go straight up. See, there I go, with not being able to control myself. I'm trying to get up there. There we go. So as I was saying, with the PlayStation Network version, you have the PlayStation controller with that D-pad. That's a good D-pad. With the PC version, you can play with the keyboard, but it is recommended that you use a joypad controller, if possible. In fact, I think the game recommends that you use a joypad controller with that game. Yeah, you gotta watch out for those hang glider guys. They throw bombs. And they can destroy the footholds, too, or the floorboards, rather. They look more like footballs, but those are bombs. If the explosion is not apparent enough. So explosive footballs, maybe? I don't know. No, I didn't want to get up there, get those gems. Gotta get everything. It's always, you always have to collect everything in video games. Always. Luckily with this guy, you can just sort of get him stuck and just sword swipe him over and over. So, as I said before, the game is around 15 bucks. You could probably get it for cheaper off of like Steam sales or something like that, though. And I forget how you get that 1-up up there. I think you just gotta... Oh, so close. I don't think I'll be able to get this, though. But, as I was saying, as if I didn't say as I was saying enough times, repetition, what's that? And stuttering, too. I think this game is worth $15, even if you can beat this game in a couple of hours. Because if you think about it, most games are like, what? If we take the fact that a $15 game is around if a $15 game is around 2 hours long, then that would mean a $60 game would be around like 8 hours, roughly. So in that regard, I think it's worth in that value. But on the other hand, this game does feel a bit short. But at least this game does provide some different options, like there's a hard mode, and there's leaderboards and times you can try and go for, and all sorts of things like that. So there is a little bit of incentive of replay value in this game. Though I don't know why I'm talking about this stuff now instead of, during the credits. But at this point I'm running out of things to talk about while I go around and try and figure out how to get these platforms to move here. Now let's take care of these guys first. Not sure why you would have missile launcher guys down at the floor trying to get Sparkster, but when they seem more useful in the flying stages. But so there's this stuff here. We just got to use the drill attack to clear those rocks. And these, luckily we can clip through that bottom and get that guy. And so these platforms will take us to another area. There's more gems and all sorts of things to collect. Oh, and going back to what I was saying earlier about the different versions of this game, no version is really bad or better than the other, in my opinion. I mean, it's more of your preference of which platform you wanted to play it on. I got the Xbox Live Arcade version because it was the only version I could get at the time, because I didn't have a PlayStation 3 yet, and I didn't have a good PC yet. I did play the demo of the PC version just for the heck of it, just to see how well that controlled, though. And now we have a long onslaught of guys on hang gliders bombing us. I don't think there's anything down there. And getting cornered by these guys is not fun. I was a bit reckless here, but what you're supposed to do, I think, is lure him to the other side and then destroy those floorboards. That way he'll fall into it. Because the best way to deal with those guys is to get him cornered into something, or get him to drop down. And now we have to face this giant airship, which sends off a bunch of wolves and has these cannons. In order to destroy this thing, we have to destroy the cannons. And it too can destroy floorboards and walls and things like that. But a couple drill attacks will usually take care of the cannons pretty easily. And don't bother with the wolves, really, because they just keep respawning out of the ship. Just go for the cannons. Unless you want to try and get a score multiplayer going, maybe. But, I don't know. Whoa, that was weird. I got hung up there for some reason. Okay, let's actually try and get up there. There we go. And, can't really get at from there, so... get this last cannon. There we go. It's a good thing destroying those cans destroy the ships for some reason. And now we move on to the next stage, which is another flying stage, after we tally up our score. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is that this game does have continues, in case you didn't see the continues there at the bottom at the end of your score tallies. Essentially, they just act like continues in any old game, where if you lose all your lives, you just use up a continue if you want. And of course, if you lose all your continues, it's game over. Of course, this game does have a free play mode, so you can play the stages individually, especially for like things like time attack and stuff like that. So now we're in another flying stage, and there's a couple mechanics in this one, such as the air currents, and there's new enemies we have to face, like these guys with propellers and all sorts of stuff. And just getting a little bit reckless here, trying to collect everything and blowing up everything, because these stages are more like auto-scrolling than actual like you flying through them. At least that's what it sort of feels like in this. Oh yeah, and hitting stuff directly with your sword I don't think really affects anything. Because I know in the original Rocket Adventures your sword can do a lot of damage, but in this it's more reliant on it's more designed around your sword blasts and things like that. So hitting stuff with your sword is nothing really special, unfortunately. And oh, there's a one-up hidden right there behind the foreground clouds. I'll admit the clouds look a little bit off. They look like they're 2D drawings, which they probably are in this 3D environment, but whatever, we're in the sky. They're just simple clouds. And we have more wolves with bombs on them, which are always good, getting some good chain reactions going. Yeah, sheesh. Yeah, it's not best to just fly up ahead, otherwise you might get hit by enemies, so it's best to stay back if you can. So we reached a checkpoint, and now we're heading to the ships here. The blimp or the Zeppelin-looking ones are the pig fleet ones, and of course the airship galleons are the wolves ones. So now we just have to face their hang-gliding armada. Okay, now we just have to face it's just like the ship on the ground level, we can just destroy its cannons. Of course, in this we have to wait and go through the ship bit by bit before we can destroy all of it right away. It's just part of the auto-scrolling, really. Okay, we take care of that. Another checkpoint. The Sword Blast is good for taking care of multiple enemies at a time because it can actually go through things. So just keep that in mind when facing multiple enemies at a time, especially these guys here. And the Sword Blast will of course do a lot more damage, but naturally the Sword Blast will take out more energy, so you can only do a few of them at a time, really. But it's all about balance and using your Sword Blasts and burst attacks effectively in this game. Okay, now things are getting a little bit tricky with item placements and the cannon right there. Just go around and just blast that. Avoiding getting hit by the cannons is a little bit tricky because they're pretty persistent in aiming. They can actually aim pretty well in terms of like following you, but as long as you just keep moving, you should be fine though. Now in order to destroy this airship, we just shoot its bombs at it deployed there for some reason, which of course set off a chain reaction. Not the smartest thing to do, but I don't know. There we go. Not only did we get all the blue gems, but all the red gems, and we can see the symbol right next to them, which means we got extra lives for them for our troubles, which is nice. So next up is the other side-scrolling stage of this world, where we go through the frozen wolf land.